What goes on beyond the gates of an oil palm plantation has always been a curiosity for me. On the invitation of Mr. Ragunaparthy, who is the IOI Plantation's General Manager for the Sabah region, I visited Pamol Plantations in Sandakan, and there was just so much to learn and to see. And learning is exactly what keeps things going in Pamol. I discovered this over my 2-day stay there. This is a school built specially for the workers' children. Majority of them are foreigners, and getting an education used to be a big issue. Well, not anymore. Pamol, together with an NGO Humana, set up schools just for these children. Keeping the children in school also helps to stop the worker from migrating from one plantation to another.
Are they taught English? Just curious.
Yes.
Okay.
She's English teacher siapa kita?
No, Cikgu Salma.
Cikgu Salma is the English teacher. Both the Indonesian government and Malaysian government, they have come down to discuss to set up a secondary school.
Right.
So that after primary 6 they can go and continue Form 1 in a secondary school.
Okay.
So that means we have to build up a school, or maybe some form of negotiation is underway. We are yet to confirm that
Okay.
But we are ready for whatever it is, because if you don't give them the education, then they'll move out back to home.
Okay.
So then we got to have an exodus of workers leaving. We want to stop that.
To keep a community together, Mr. Ragu believes it's important to keep their spiritual faith going too.
Now there's a church for the riverine communities.
Right.
It's a very old church. So, and it's sad to say that during every Christmas Eve or New Year Eve, that's a time where the rain comes in and the area gets flooded. When the area gets flooded, even the church goes underwater.
Oh, okay.
So it's sad to see that they can't celebrate the Christmas or the New Year Eve, since the church is underwater.
Right.
So, and in 2005...
Mr. Ragu was invited by the local folks of St. Peter's Church by the river during Christmas to give a speech. It was a sight he could not forget. There were only old folks worshipping under a leaking roof. At that moment, he promised the parish that he would build them a church and that they would not have to worship in a dilapidated church anymore.
And this is where this church, St. Anthony's Church, was built. They'll ask me, why is that I named St. Anthony's, why can't I make St. Peter?
Right.
Because I'm an Antonian. Both I did my primary and secondary schooling in St. Anthony's School.
Okay.
So being an Antonian, so I thought I put St. Anthony's as this church, I named it. Okay. Now the best part of it, after building the church, now the church cannot go without the bell. Now that bell, it took me almost about 6 months to get the bell. But I couldn't get a bell in Sabah, so this bell was brought in from India.
Now that he showed me what the kids learned in school, how the buffaloes learned to adorn the collar, and how the samba deer served to teach the community about conservation, Mr. Ragu feels it's time I learned a thing or two about oil palm harvesting.
But this area is a flood-prone area. Okay, it's close by the river. So we'll try not to go for possible one loose fruit, because we want to minimize losses because of the flood. Once the flash flows comes in, you won't get any loose fruits, all washed away. Then some areas is not accessible, you cannot plant. So this is a perishable goods.
Right.
The moment you leave too long, more loose fruits, and then it gets overripe. If it overripe also is not good, because the free fatty acid in the will increase. We also harvest the bunches which is ripe with loose fruit. At the same time, we also harvest the bunches which is red in color. The harvester will be using a chisel because it's just below 10 feet, so he can still use a chisel.
Yes.
The moment if the tree gets taller, he cannot use a chisel, he'll change to a sickle. These are the protective gears they have for chisel, because it's a very, very sharp one. Don't underestimate the chisel, it's very sharp. You just touch slowly and see slowly. Downward. Can you feel it? Yes. So you just need to be protected. It's called buffalo assisted harvesting. That's a buffalo, and this is a cart. When he harvests, this is a carrier, that's a cutter.
Okay.
So he cuts, he lifts the bunches down there. The carrier, what he does, he take the bunch, he collect the loose fruits, he puts down here.
Like liquid gold, every drop of oil is pressed out of the golden kernels.
If it's more orangey it is, then the oil content is rich here. Okay? If it's lightish yellow, the oil content is not there. Okay, so this is the kernel. There's two things here. This is the mesocarp that produce the oil. This is kernel also, they extract kernel oil.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I must say I walked away feeling rather smug after the lessons in palm oil harvesting from Mr. Raghu. We left the buffaloes and its masters to do the job and moved on to Palm Oil's own wildlife sanctuary, where proboscis monkey can be sighted occasionally. A plank walk across the mangrove swamp takes visitors amongst huge mangrove trees that resemble Avatar's Tree of Life. I took my moment with the birds, mudskippers and the lush flora and fauna before getting back onto the long road out of the plantation.
Yes.